This morning, before this video started, you probably already knew who won the 2026 World Cup. Spain beat Argentina 1-0. Extra time. A goal from Ferran Torres in the 106th minute. What almost nobody talked about is who actually got paid. Because while the world was watching a champion get crowned, 16 host cities were quietly adding up a bill they can't avoid. This is the story of the most expensive World Cup in history. And it's not about who won on the field. Let's start with the scale of this thing. 2026 was the first 48-team World Cup ever played. 104 matches, 16 host cities, 3 countries, the United States, Mexico, and Canada. FIFA's commercial cycle for this tournament is expected to bring in around $13 billion, the richest 4-year period in the organization's history. 9 years ago, FIFA President Gianni Infantino ran for office on one specific promise: quadruple FIFA's revenue. By the end of this tournament, he's on pace to deliver exactly that. Here's how the money actually moves. FIFA keeps the ticket sales. FIFA keeps the broadcasting rights. FIFA keeps the sponsorship and licensing deals. Even on FIFA's own official resale marketplace, they take 30% of every ticket resold. The host cities get almost none of that revenue. What they get is the bill. Now, about those tickets. In December 2025, Infantino defended the pricing publicly. He pointed to one number: $60, the lowest price available through select national federations. But almost no fan actually paid that price, because this was the first World Cup ever to use dynamic pricing. The same system airlines use, the same system concert tickets use. Prices rise automatically as demand rises. A Category 1 seat for the final, up to $7,875. Infantino said FIFA received 150 million ticket requests in 2 weeks. Every single request pushed the next price higher. Now let's look at the other side of the ledger, the side FIFA doesn't cover. Toronto's hosting costs were first estimated at tens of millions of dollars. By the time the tournament actually happened, roughly $380 million. In Foxborough, Massachusetts, projected public safety costs alone came in near $7.8 million. Collectively, the 11 host cities in the United States are facing a shortfall of at least $250 million. And in Mexico, the cheapest of the 3 countries to host in, hotel rates in some cities spiked nearly 1,000% in the months before kickoff. None of that money goes to FIFA. Every dollar of it comes out of local and public budgets. Here's a detail most people never hear about. FIFA's contracts don't just take the big revenue streams. They restrict what host cities are allowed to sell locally. Reports from inside several host cities describe local restaurants being blocked from selling food anywhere near the stadiums because it competes with FIFA's official partners, companies like McDonald's. Some cities got so desperate for funding, they were reportedly pitching sponsorship deals to local dry cleaners and auto mechanics, just to close a fraction of the gap. This pattern isn't new, and it isn't an accident. Andrew Zimbalist, an economist at Smith College who has studied mega events for decades, put it simply: host cities carry costs that can run well over $100 million each, and in his words, none of them will benefit economically because they get the costs, not the revenue. One academic database tracked Olympics and World Cups going back to the 1960s. More than 4 out of 5 of them ran a deficit for the host. To be fair, the 2026 format was actually designed with this risk in mind. Spreading the tournament across 16 cities instead of 1 was meant to avoid the classic problem: empty, unused stadiums built for a single event. It solved that problem. It just didn't solve the money. FIFA sold this tournament on more than ticket revenue: tourism, global exposure, economic impact for the region. And some of that was real. Restaurants, bars, and souvenir shops within a few blocks of the stadiums did see a real boost in foot traffic. But zoom out past those few blocks, and the picture changes fast. Nearly 80% of hotel operators across the United States reported demand that came in weaker than they expected. Even Vancouver, hosting multiple matches, saw bookings fall short of forecasts. The economic boost FIFA promised the country mostly stayed inside a 2-block radius around each stadium. So, who actually won the 2026 World Cup? On the field, the answer is easy: Spain. Ferran Torres. The 106th minute. Off the field, the answer is completely different. It wasn't the 16 cities that built and rebuilt their stadiums. It wasn't the hotels that raised their prices and still came up short. It wasn't the fans who paid up to $7,875 for a single seat. It was the organization that never touched a ball, the one that kept the tickets, kept the broadcast rights, kept the sponsorships, and left everyone else the receipts.